Can you believe it? This is episode 200 of the show. I know I can't believe it. And I'll be honest, this one feels a little emotional. It's not going to be a perfectly polished episode. It's going to be a real, raw, and straight from the heart type of episode because that's exactly how I got here in the first place. So if you're listening right now, whether you've been here from the beginning or this is your very first episode, seriously, thank you for pressing play, for letting me speak into your earbuds or your car speaker, for being part of this journey, and for really letting me be part of yours. I do not take that lightly. And Mondays are usually my shorty episodes, but this one's going to be a little longer because it is a special one. And I do touch on mindsets, so it still hits on the whole Monday mindset. When I stop and really think about the fact that I've managed to release 200 episodes in less than 2 years of having a podcast, I am really freaking proud of myself. I also think I'm insane because most podcasts release an episode a week. So at that rate, I really should be celebrating my 100th show. But no, I decided I needed to release 2 episodes a week while juggling all the mom, wife, and career life things. And I am all about making life easier, but I'll admit doing 2 episodes a week doesn't really align with that thought process. But a huge part of work-life balance is your mindset. So that's why I do 2 a week, because mindset is so important and it warrants its own little episode. And I usually tie it into my Tuesday episode to kind of get your mindset ready for the week. But today I wanted to talk about how I got to 200. And because this episode is my mindset one, I do have to kick it off with a quote. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently, by Marie Forleo. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work? With time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Today, I wanted to share something that I don't think we talk about enough when it comes to creating a life we love and what has helped me get to where I am today as I sit and record my 200th episode, which is just, again, mind-blowing to me. But those some things are mindset and consistency. 2 words that sound so simple, but when life gets busy, messy, and overwhelming, and it does, those 2 words are often the first to slip. So how did I get to 200 episodes? How did I keep going when no one was listening at first? How do I stay consistent when I'm juggling work, motherhood, marriage, life, and building a business? That's what we're talking about. And we're starting with number 1. It all started with belief before any sort of evidence showed up. There were so many days in the beginning where I'd record an episode and think, is anyone even going to listen to this? I'd check my stats and they'd be so low. I'd post about it and hear crickets. And yet I kept going. Why? Because deep down, I believed that it mattered. I believed that there was a mom out there who needed to hear what I had to say. And I believed that if I showed up with consistency and heart, eventually it would grow. And it did, and it's still growing. So let this be a reminder, you don't need proof to believe. Sometimes belief is the first step, and consistency is what brings the results. And the podcast isn't the only thing that grew. I did too. I sometimes go back and listen to my first episodes, and I'm not going to lie, I kind of cringe. While I still love the content, I just sound so different. I remember how awkward I felt recording for the first few months, sitting alone, staring at a screen, talking to no one. It took a while to get the right flow and to figure out how to edit. Those first few weeks, editing a 15-minute recording would literally take me hours to do. But I'm proud of the person I was because as awkward as I felt, I kept going. I pushed through those fears of people not listening, the fears that people would judge me, the fear and self-limiting belief that I wouldn't be successful. And here I am, less than 2 years later, with 200 episodes under my belt. The second thing that's helped me is really my mindset, because if I had to boil down how I kept going through the tough seasons, the slow growth, the juggling act, it was my mindset. There were so many moments where I could have talked myself out of this. I told myself it wasn't worth it, that I didn't have time, that other moms had it more together, that maybe I wasn't meant to grow something big while managing all the other roles I play. But I learned early on, your mindset will either fuel you or defeat you. I chose to believe that I was capable, even when I didn't feel like it. I chose to see challenges as detours, not as dead ends. I told myself that this was possible for me. And when I had a bad week, I didn't throw everything away. I gave myself grace, I reset, and I kept going. That's the difference between staying stuck and building momentum. So if you're listening and you're doubting your next step, I really want you to ask yourself, what would it look like to believe that success is possible for you? That you're not behind, just building at your own pace. Mindset isn't fluff, I promise you. It really is the fuel that gets you going. And it's one of the biggest reasons I'm still here today. The third thing is good routines, especially my morning routine. It's not perfect, but it's really powerful. That early wake up time where I get to sit down, I get to pray, plan, work on this podcast, and focus on my dreams. That time is honestly so sacred to me. It's where I have my strictest boundaries, and it really grounds me before the day pulls me in a million different directions. My morning routine has become the anchor, really keeps me centered. And when I stick to it, I just feel more confident, more patient, and more focused. And it's not just about productivity, although I am the most productive in the morning. It's about time to create that alignment in my day, an alignment of where I plan to spend my time on what's most important to me. And when I sleep in, like last night, I must have been snoring or something, and Russ gave me a little push that woke me up, and then I couldn't fall back asleep until I swear right before my 4:20 alarm went off. And I just knew my body wasn't rested enough to be productive during the day. So I let myself sleep in. But when I sleep in, it throws off my entire day. And I hate that feeling. So I prioritize getting a good nighttime routine too. And that way I'm getting in bed at a decent time so that getting up early, even when I do lose a little sleep in the middle of the night, isn't so tough. If you're struggling to stay consistent with your goals, check your routines. Create one that works for you, not against you. And if you need help with that, get your name on the wait list for my Mornings Made Simple workshop. The link is in the show notes. Or if you're listening to this after April, hopefully I'll have it available on my website as a course so you can check that out too. The show notes should have all the links. The fourth thing is faith in God's timing. Let me say this. I did not get here on my own. There were doors that opened for me at just the right time, opportunities that I didn't even see coming, and moments when that self-doubt creeped in, but God said, keep going. There's so much power in trusting that things are unfolding exactly as they should. I don't always know the timeline, but I know the one who does. And that gives me peace on the hard days. And I'm not going to lie, when I did my year-end reflection and I looked at all the goals I had for the side business last year, and I saw all the areas that I fell short, which was pretty much everywhere except the amount of episodes that I released. I was really disappointed. And I had to have a lot of conversations with God, which, side note, I talk to him all the time and sometimes out loud. If you happen to see me on my walks and it looks like I'm possibly talking on the phone, chances are I'm not. But as I was having these conversations, I wanted to know what I was doing wrong, why it was taking so long to grow. And honestly, there was a point when I just started to cry. And I promise you, this is the truth. Right at that point, when I literally had tears in my eyes, a mom DM'd me on Instagram to tell me how much the show is helping her. When I tell you, it was absolute divine timing. And it helped me snap out of my pity party. It also helped me take the emotion out of my reflection. It helped me realize that last year wasn't my time because there were things and people at work whose journeys I needed to play a big part in. And I also went through a job change at work myself that was way more stressful than I thought it would be. And I had to put in a lot of extra hours. So again, I gave myself grace and I just pray that this is my year to make seriously big strides. God be with me. So if you're in a season where it feels slow or stuck or unclear, lean into your faith. Sometimes God is working behind the scenes in ways that we don't understand. The next is marriage and communication. I also wouldn't have made it to 200 without open communication with Russ. We're not perfect, but we've learned to talk about the hard stuff, the late nights, the early mornings, the shifting of responsibilities, the vision I have for this business and our future. And it's not always easy, but we're in this together. I tell him all the time that I'm going to retire him one day, and I know that I will. I think he thinks I'm joking, but I'm really not. I see it happening, and I just can't wait for the day. But I tell him I have big plans for me, and I have big plans for him. But he really is so supportive because he knows how much the show and growing my business means to me. And lately, I've been working on the weekends too, and sometimes a little at night, so I have been leaning on him a little bit more. I'm also in a season of my life where my kids really don't need me for much. And they make plans with their friends on the weekends or have activities or homework in the evenings that, again, they don't need my help with. So if I'm not needed and we're not doing something as a family, I'm doing a little side hustle stuff here and there. But again, it all comes down to communicating what I need. And if you're building something big while managing a household and partnership, talk about it, let them in, ask for support, share your dreams. It really makes such a huge difference. The next thing is consistency. I was and continue to be so consistent. I have not missed 1 week on releasing episodes, whether I was sick, tired, on vacation, or just trying to balance a way overflowing plate. I showed up every week. This podcast has become my non-negotiable. I don't want there to be a day when you go to check out what I released this week on the podcast and not have an episode waiting for you. And I'm not going to lie, it has not been easy. I wish I was to the point where I could sit and batch a month's worth of episodes in one sitting so that I didn't put so much pressure on myself, but that hasn't been the case. Sometimes I'm recording the episode the night before it's releasing. It's a lot of pressure, and I really tried to get to a place where I'm at least going into the weekend, having next week's episodes already uploaded, but life doesn't always work out that way. There just doesn't seem to be enough time to get ahead, so I'm very much just keeping up with it. But goals for this year are to get better at that, so wish me luck. And number 6, I don't know if I've actually been numbering these, but this is number 6. You kept me going, my listeners. You send me messages at just the right time, you share episodes, you tell me the show helps you feel less alone. And every time I get one of those messages, it's like a nudge from the universe that says, keep going. This podcast isn't just mine. It's ours. It's our space to grow, to reset, to breathe, and to remember we're not alone in this. If it wasn't for you, I would have given up a long time ago. And I do have a favor to ask. I would be so grateful if you could help me grow the show. If you haven't left a review yet, please take a few minutes to hit those 5 stars and write a little something about the show. It really helps boost me up in the searches. And share this podcast with your mom friends. If this show has helped you in any way, I know it will help them too. And if you've ever wanted to reach out to me, I strongly encourage you to do so. I really do read each DM and respond. I love hearing from you. And like I mentioned before, those DMs usually come at the perfect time and they seriously light me up. My Instagram handle is @mom.wife.career.life. I hope to hear from you. So what's next? I have so many dreams for the next 200 episodes, more interviews with amazing people. My Mornings Made Simple workshop is launching soon. I'm also hoping to launch my time management course this year too, God willing. This is my timing. And a lot more encouragement and inspiration coming your way to help you build the life that you've been dreaming of. But for today, I just want to say this. If I can stay consistent through all of life's curveballs, and I've had so many in the past 2 years, so can you. Believe in your vision, anchor into your routines, trust in God's timing, communicate your needs, and surround yourself with people who remind you why you started. You're not behind, you're right on time. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for tuning in, for showing up for me, but most importantly, for showing up for yourself because you are worth it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for helping me reach 200 episodes. Let's keep it going. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.